people who are Alice know what to do with their money. There's no budgeting your way out of poverty.
All right, quiz time. Tell me what the following have in common. A grown family of 3 making $70,000 in a picturesque suburb, a rural family of 4 working multiple jobs while being pillars of their community, or the feather bachelor prefers the inner city life but finds his rent increasing faster than his income. If you're struggling to find a connection besides their humanity, I'ma help you out. Alice, asset limited, income constrained, employed are the growing number of houses struggling to make ends meet. And in Arkansas, the state that I'm exploring now, that's a crazy 31% of families living above the federal poverty line. I mean, for survival, you gotta pay for housing, childcare, food, transportation, healthcare. And I ain't gonna snitch if you don't, but you probably should pay your taxes too. And all the while, the federal poverty level is right here. And what that means is, despite working 40+ hours a week to make ends meet, many don't receive federal benefits. And that's a huge problem. So it's got me wondering, what's caused this situation to happen to so many people? And could it be a loss for all of society and not just the individuals involved? So basically, I had a grip of questions that needed some expert insight, so I spoke with Reverend Chantel Hinton Hill to shed some light upon it all.
And I think the easiest way to think about Alice is a new framework for thinking about poverty. And so Alice gives you that lens to know that people who are experiencing poverty aren't always homeless or out on the street. A lot of times they're doing everything right, but they still can't make ends meet.
So, poverty in Alice's situations disproportionately affect Black and brown peoples. However, Alice's communities are quite diverse, having the largest numerical population being in white households. This diversity was an aspect I saw time and time again as I had a chance to sit and talk with people within the Alice communities across the state. In addition, I was able to detect quite a bit of the phrase that Reverend Chantel speaks on, the overglorification of resilience. For clarity, I asked her to explain more what she means by that.
I think one of the things that we've started learning as we release the Alice data here is that people love a good underdog or a hero story. Like, oh, these people, they're working hard, they're pulling themselves up by their bootstraps. But why? Like, why would we glorify struggle when the system could just be different so that people could live abundantly and not have to suffer in silence a lot of times?
So essentially, we gotta stop making struggle sexy.
Yeah, right. I mean, because it ain't sexy.
Right.
Like, I've been there. I grew up in a single parent household, and for my mom to tell my brother and I, like, don't ask for nothing when we get to the store. And that wasn't fun. Like, I know that it pained my grandmother, my dad's mom, to not be able to feed her children. It pained my mom to not be able to give us the kind of life that I know that she wanted to give us, right? And so I don't think there's anything for us to keep glorifying about being so resilient all the time.
From that childhood experience, is that what fed a lot of you going into this work now?
Yeah, I think from the standpoint of the foundation where I work at Winthrop Rockefeller Foundation, we knew that we wanted to change the conversation about economic equity in Arkansas. And we knew to do that most people were going to think, oh, well, people are not making good choices and that's why they're in poverty. And Alice really gave us a way to be like, no, this is data that says people working 2 and 3 jobs and they still can't make ends meet. Let's point at the real problem, which is our system of economy.
All right, so let's step back real quick to see where the federal poverty level even came from. You see, it started with Molly Oshansky in the 1960s when she was working with the Social Security Administration to define poverty. After finding out food was about a third of folks' income, she took the number for the minimum amount of family needs and multiplied it by 3. But it wasn't until 1964 when President Lyndon Johnson declared war on poverty that he adopted the formula for the country. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where the FPL we still use today was formed. Simple, right? Well, although the FPL is adjusted for inflation, family size, and state modifications, it doesn't calculate how we now only spend 1/6 of our income on food, but greater money percentages on other expenses. And this new number is the basic minimum cost of living. And where it exceeds the FPL is where the Alice community lies. And for many who escape poverty into Alice, they find themselves in a paradise because they lose government benefits or are more likely to have regular fees and other cash-draining items. As a result, it's a situation where making more can actually mean having less. But still, some people do break away from the Alice survival threshold, like Reverend Chantel Hinton Hill herself. So I had to ask her what makes it the exception and not the rule.
somewhere somebody helped you, whether it's your parents gave you a leg up, whether it's some sort of education, whether it's someone, investing in you. That wasn't a one-time event. It was something that was a continual network of support and resources. And I think for folks who would need to be a little bit more convinced that people shouldn't be held, like one exceptional example shouldn't be held to everyone, it's the equity question, right? Everybody needs help at some point in their life, but everybody doesn't need the same help.
So I want to talk solutions. What are things we could be focusing on and distinct steps to make them better?
There have been some universal basic income pilots that have happened in different places in the South. I know in Mississippi, someone did a universal basic income pilot with Black women who recently gave birth, and it promised them basically $5,000 a month for them to be able to spend on whatever it is. These were Alice women, for them to be able to spend on whatever they needed, and seeing how that absolutely changed their lives, but improve the community. So I think we could be doing more universal basic income pilots. I definitely think we could change the way our healthcare system works. There's a lot of conversations happening around Medicaid and Medicare expansion. We know that healthcare is a huge issue for Alice. So that's one. Paying a living wage is another. And I do think that there are unique ways that philanthropy can be partnering with local government and other public-private partnerships to really be thinking about like community school models, affordable housing models that otherwise wouldn't be funded by the state or by the local government.
If the time and energy was given back to the people who live within Alice, like how do you feel that would impact society?
I think that if we were to solve the Alice issue and that less and less people were Alice, we would see our communities be radically connected. We would see less crime. I think we would see less issues with political division. I honestly think that we would see more innovative solutions popping up in the state as well, whether it's bringing new industries into the state or it's bringing new jobs into the state. I really do think that if Alice folks had more time to dream and dream freely, that our state would be like the next place that everybody would want to live.
And I feel that's a great vision too. But first, there's work to be done for us to get there. Such needed steps were further revealed as I got a chance to speak with individuals from Alice communities around the state in the rest of our series. Hope you get a chance to check it out. Till next time, yeah.